I've been into most forms of alternative music since I was a preteen, but 2011 was the year where I started to more embrace that side of myself. Since it was my last year of being a teenager, my musical tastes were maturing a bit more. I was still a pop punk boy and still am in many ways today, but there's a lot more than just that in the list below, as you're about to witness for yourself. Honourable mentions include Crazy Love by Hawk Nelson, Four by Maylin and the Sons of Disaster, so that's two, Your Sparkling Death Cometh by Falling Up, Until We Have Faces by Red, and World War III by Medina Lake. Now, let's do this. Number 10, Dropkick Murphys, Going Out in Style. We start the list proper with the first for me. I was aware of Dropkick Murphys for all before listening to this one, and the title would suggest that this would be the band's last album, so it's a bit of a weird point for me to jump on. They've released two more albums since then, obviously, but hell, I was actually sort of taken by surprise by this album in general. It's got the band's signature catchy charm all about it, it's chock full of great stories and guest spots, and the band showed that the radio rusted them. It's just some really good old-fashioned, happy oi punk. So, check it out. Even though it is 8 years old, but still, check it out. Number 9, Close Your Eyes, Empty Hands and Heavy Hearts. You know, if you just take this album at face value, then you wouldn't even assume that there were any backstage drama. This would be the band's last album with original vocalist Shane Raymond, and drummer Tim Friesen as well, and guitarist Andrew Rodriguez would also leave for a little bit too, but who really cares about all that when the iron sharpened gave us such gold? The melodies and performance within this album, along with heavy lyrics and smooth production, are what are important here more than anything, and they really sell this one for me personally, so yeah, good stuff. Number 8, Blindside, with Shivering Hearts We Wait. From a band that I caught early on to a band that I caught way too late, I've heard some of Blindside stuff beforehand, but this album was my first full length by them, and, well, to be honest, better late than never. The band's sixth album has a lot of what the band is known for, but expanded. Maturity, grit, heavy riffs, and some of the most underrated lyrics in the Christian rock genre. Uh, you'd never believe that the band was still around after this, as they only recently released a new song. But if this were their last album, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad note to end things on, in my opinion. So worth a go, I think. Number 7, Egypt Central, White Rabbit. And speaking of albums being last, Egypt Central with White Rabbit. I stumbled across these guys thanks to a WWE game soundtrack, and I listened to their debut. It's got its moments, but the band took a different direction for their sophomore effort, going down a deeper and darker hole, somewhat literally. The album is a concept piece about a man falling into darkness and addiction, and the performances and production value within do a damn good job of telling that story for me personally. Also, a lot more solos. Always thought Egypt Central had underrated solos, so glad to see that. Number 6, Yellow Card, When You're Through Thinking, Say Yes. This was the band's first album after they returned from their hiatus, well, their first one at least, and I have to say, I'm glad that I caught this one when I did. It's the band's signature style of violin-led pop punk / emo, but it's much more mature on this album too, which is for the best since the band were in their early 30s at the time. But I do digress. The album has many of the band's usual tropes, with the big step up in both the lyrical and guitar departments, and is still as emotionally resonant as ever, as you would like to expect from Yellow Card, so I'm glad that they kept that side of them. So, yeah, enjoyable. Number 5, Destroy Rebuild Until God Shows, with Drugs, or just self-titled. It's a damn shame that this was Drugs' only album ever, because it's so damn good. The band is a supergroup with members from Story of the Year, Matchbook Romance, From First to Last Chiodos, and Undermined all taking up positions in various different instruments, obviously. With all those post-hardcore emo bands in mind, this album does have a lot of those sounds, but also a charisma and willingness to experiment to it that not as many bands were doing at the time. All members have since moved back to their old bands, but together for this project, they put out a damn fine effort, in my opinion. It's a shame we might never see too many supergroup debuts that are this good. I mean, Fever 333, The Damn Things. No, I'm wrong. We get good stuff. Number 4, Get Scared, Best Kind of Mess. Unlike the last album, these guys didn't break up a year or so after this was released. In fact, I don't know if Get Scared have officially split. Well, I do know now, because when I wrote this, it wasn't completely official, but the bands are actually over now, so sorry. But, yeah, I mean, in 2011, the story was a little bit different. This was the band's debut full-length, and right off the bat it shows off their post-hardcore / metalcore tendencies, but with this delightful gothic twist to keep things interesting. As debuts go, it's a really impressive one, and thanks to how well it's written and performed and produced, it's really not hard to see how good it is. Number 3, This Time Next Year, Drop Out of Life. This is a weird pattern, isn't it? From a band who split after one album to a band who have split up quite recently, after their fourth album, to a band who sadly split up despite being only 6 years into their career. That fifth year did give us this album, though. It's a shame that not enough people talk about this one, and this may be one of the most underrated pop punk albums in the 2010s, in my opinion. It's charming, it's funny, it's cleverly written, and avoids the cliches of pop punk at the time, which were really heavily around in 2011. But the album also doesn't get the credit that it deserves, and you should definitely listen to it because it's so good. It's really good. It annoys me that not enough people listen to this one, to be honest. Number 2, Rise Against with Endgame. And now we go from a band who wasn't around long to a band that have been around for almost 2 decades. And once again, this was my first full album, despite me being aware of Rise Against and The Reputation. Obviously, this album came out before this year's biggest movie, so, you know, Avengers ripped off Rise Against. I said it. Dave, and by Dave I mean Rise Against, have always been known for their politically charged lyrics, but this album steps into a deeper territory and covers topics that are still shockingly relevant today. The same could be said about any of Rise Against albums, sure, but in terms of lyrical impact, instrumentation, and performances, this does elevate it a bit slightly, in my opinion, even though they've put out 2 pretty good albums after that. Well, Black Market was okay, Walls was awesome, so, yeah. Number 1, that's something in my mouth, sorry. The Wonder Years with Suburbia, I've Given You All, and Now I'm Nothing. 2010 was sure a strange time for me. I started getting into different styles of music at the time, and the fast-paced pop-punk style led by bands like 4 Year Strong and Set Your Goals and such seemed to fit into my wheelhouse. I didn't initially like the Wonder Years when I first heard them, though. Sure, they had their charm, but not a lot else to me. And then this album happened, and I started eating my words like they were a delicious sort of pie that was humbling. Mature, full of great lyrics, raw honesty, produced well, carrying concept and solid instrumentation work. Yeah, to me, that's album of the year worthy. Well, it was for 2011 at least, but that's all you need, because we had some good stuff in 2011, but in my opinion, that was the best stuff we had in 2011. So, there you go. And that about does it for this list. I will see you for the next list, the 2012 stuff, quite possibly next week. Obviously, you know, this weekend there's a high chance that there will be a Fight of the Night review, and then PBW on Monday. I still need to actually set up the episode for that. Ugh. But I'll see you all most likely this Sunday. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you... I just hope you watched it, really. That would be nice. And as always, the cat. He's sleeping right now. I should be so loud. Thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye-bye.